What I have for you is an unbelievably exciting video today, because what we get to look at is the next rendition of the Basement Arms hop-up units that are gas blowback spec for the KWA F90. And if you don't know already, for the KWA F90, one of the biggest mistakes that KWA made was the fact that the barrel and buckings are not gas blowback spec, or the hop unit's not gas blowback spec, so you can't replace the gas blowback parts to make it better, or whenever you have to make it more usable. This is the stock unit. It's not a bad unit, and it's got like this nice clicking feature. And if you didn't see it last time on the last video, go ahead and check it out. I'll leave it up in the top. We installed the first generation prototype to the gas blowback KWA F90 hop up unit. This is an upgraded version, and I wanted to quickly, before we get it installed and tested, take a look at some of the differences while we go through it, and do so because there was a few flaws that this one had. One thing that I noticed, and a couple of the other testers noticed, was when Basement Arms designed this, some of the screws were just obnoxiously small for no reason. Like, for example, this one right here. And if you did tighten it down too far, it went right through the hop-up bucking and blew through the loading nozzle. Another thing that we noticed while testing was there was a handful of screws that, if I can get this to come all the way out, and as you can see, it was a little wonky. There was a huge issue with these grub screws. They were just unbelievably small, and they were hard to get in place, and they were a little bit long depending on the size of the barrel that you were using, so they wouldn't go in all the way if you had a thicker barrel with a thicker I guess walling. And I had to shave these down, which was even more of an issue. It looks like, though, now with this new one, first of all, the rotary system is not too bad. It's a little bit stiff. Maybe that'll wear in a decent bit if you screw it too far. But now you could see the O-ring sits in place much nicer, and that is replaced with this little barrel clip that he has 3D printed. So that's cool. I also forgot to mention that we do have what looks to be a 3D printed hop nub, and obviously the longer hop nubs, depending on what you choose to use. So that's really cool. Now that sits obviously up in that channel. So those are two main things that I noticed. First of all, that top screw has been made much larger, and then those side screws that hold the barrel in place have been changed out for a clip, which is a huge, huge change. Huge change. Let's pull this screw out. I don't even know if I need to, per se. Maybe I do. I'm going to pull this screw out. I shouldn't have to pull it out all the way, just enough so that I could slide that in and out. And then we have to get to this screw to get the loading ramp out, which looks like... Oh no, it's a pin. That's right, I forgot. That's a pin. Okay, which direction does that push out of? I think it pushes out that way. So let's see if I can get that to... Loading ramp outwards. It's pretty dang snug in there, which is really good. Should mean let's shot that across the room. So if you look in the inside, there's some like plastic, I guess, buildup from the printing. You could just go ahead and pull those out. That's not going to contact the BB at all. It's just going to be on the outside of the hop-up rubber. And now let's take this guy apart and get our hop rubber and barrel out, and we'll reinstall it into the new one. Barrel and bucking are out. Now, the install should be super similar. The hop-up rubber and barrel just sit in like this. Just got to go straight through the... Now do we come out the other way? Okay, yeah, we just go in the other way. So it just sits out in the back like this, and the little notch goes through the right side. I think that space, that square here, it's a little loose. I think that could definitely be smaller and more refined for sure. Now, the entire barrel and unit go through the back of the hop up unit and push into place like this. I don't even know if we needed to. There. What are we stuck on here? It was a snug fit. Okay, that's all the way in. I think the flash will definitely help you see it better, but now we got to get that barrel clip on in place. So we'll make sure that we're all lined up. Everything's ready to rumble. And we'll toss that barrel clip on in. Hopefully that goes in nice and snug with no problems. It's a little on the thick side there. But I think we're in. See if I can like smush that through the metal a little bit more. Okay, so that's definitely in a little bit more snug. It's not the easiest thing to get in place. Okay, now let's get everything tightened back down. We want to first throw this pin in place. We pushed it out from this side, so we'll push it back in from that side now. And hopefully just some light pressure will do. Seems to be the case. See if I can get this to go all the way in. Since it's all printing, the pins and stuff are pretty easy to get in and out. And now we'll retighten down that screw up at the top to lock it on down. We want to make sure we don't screw that in too far. Otherwise it could break the plastic insert. What's nice is, I don't know if you could see it, but on this one, you see that screw? How it almost has like a flat wall, so it stops screwing itself in too far. On the original unit, there was none, and it was a grub screw, and that could just overscrew and break completely through the loading ramp and the loading piece. So that's a huge improvement. Let's see if we get this guy on now. Work it in all the way, or is it going to be a pain in the butt? That barrel clip seems to be a huge issue. It is just way too wide, almost. I don't really know how I would go about like clamping that down or getting that through the metal more. Or maybe it is just thicker. It's like it's just too thick. I definitely think that's in about as far as it's going to go. I might be able to push it up more because that left side seems like it can go up a little bit higher. But I think the big issue is like, how is that going to come out now? Like getting that out is going to be a pain in the butt. That needs to be something that's easier to get out and put back in. Otherwise, that's going to be a huge issue. So I brought you in a little deeper for this part because we're going to install the little hop nub. We're going to use the one that has the hop nub pre-installed. And I was instructed to install it so that the bump is facing towards the front of the hop unit for the best consistency. So we'll just slide that guy on in place. Maybe grab ourselves like a little Allen key or something to mush that guy down. Now you can use a like metal or a like pre-made hop up nub. Obviously I don't have that right now, so we'll just use the 3D printed one, which I'm sure will work all right. And we'll throw our locking nut back on. Just got to apply tension to that downwards so we can get this guy over it. Cool. And then the most important thing is to make sure that we are applying hop tension when we twist this guy, if it's pushing that down at all or not. It looks like it wants to rise up as we start to loosen it, and then as we start to tighten it, it does push itself down a little bit. I think if that were metal, that would be better, obviously, because it wouldn't be prying upwards as much as it looks like it is. The plastic definitely kind of wants to fight it. It's almost getting stuck in a way. But the concept's definitely going to work. I see what he's going for. I think a metal one would definitely do a little bit better, but it's definitely applying hop tension. So let's take the next steps. We'll install this guy into the rear of the F90 and make sure everything sits nice and snug. It's not too tight of a fit, so that's perfect. And then we'll grab that teeny tiny little screw that we had before, and we're just going to reinstall it on the outside. So we'll, without losing that, just toss it back into place. Have to go a little bit further. Maybe we're not lined up just totally yet. Hold on. I think I got to push this in a little bit more. There we go. That should be good to go. Okay, now I would usually Loctite these things in place, but being that I'm going to be reinstalling and uninstalling them because we're going to probably have a few more renditions of this unit, I won't need to do that. Okay. And then the most important thing, can we still adjust it? You can. Actually, just fine. It's hard to get a nail in there because I don't really have fingernails, but it is adjustable. Cool. I'm going to get this reinstalled back onto the F90, everything put back together. We're going to head outside and test it really quick, so we'll go do that now. So we got the F90 out with the new hop-up unit installed. I don't know if you can see that in there. Sorry, I got this like new weird head camera setup angle going on. Loaded with .3s and some propane. And we'll throw our sight on. Now, this is my new little, I guess, accuracy testing range. It's hard to see, I guess, but there are some small metal targets on that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree, and that tree. And that's kind of how I'm going to start testing some of the accuracy tests. These guys are about head-sized targets. Some of them are within, like, say 20 feet. Some of them are outwards of like 40-something feet away. Some are higher, some are lower, and I'm going to have to move around a little bit. So hopefully this like head camera setup works. Let's make sure this is semi-locked. And we'll kind of just see if we're dialed in. We're going to probably have to adjust the hop up. All right, we go. Yeah, let me adjust the hop up a little bit. I'm going to bring it up a tad. Okay, hop up's been adjusted. Let's see if we can get some shots off. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Where's the other one? There it is. And we're out of ammo. Okay, let me refill this. Reload it with rounds. And we'll give it a go again. 3, 2, 1. A lot of this is user error. That one flew back at me. That was 2, 2. All right, we're gonna go again. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And we're all out. Not too bad, actually. That kind of ran phenomenally. I want to try and get this into an area where I can launch some rounds off like more distance as opposed to just like accuracy to a small target. So let's see if we can get a longer view of the BBs flying. So we're out running our original targeting system, which is that target right down there, which is a body-sized purple target. And then we'll even fire some out into the distance and we'll see kind of just what like the flying looks like. But let's see how it fares. Here we go. So you guys got a decent view. So it seems relatively consistent. I am getting a slight like curve down to the left a tad bit. I'm gonna see if we get some more distance shots. We'll go out into the back of the woods. We got some stray flyers. The first one dropped a lot, and then the last few were flying directly straight, and then 2 of them went up aggressively to the left. Consistency's not bad. I don't think it's much different from the standard consistency when it was like first out of the box. Probably could do with a little bit of refining, but it also seems to work similar, but with gas blowback spec components, which is cool. So we do have a lot of potential there. Listen, it doesn't get much more exciting than that. I'm super stoked that we are borderlining a hop-up unit for the KWA F90. I think it's going to change the game for this replica as a whole. And now it can finally compete alongside something like the GHK AUG, which everybody seems to be really hyped about. Now, when it comes to this unit, two things that I think really need to be solved are going to be, first of all, that clamp, that barrel clamp we were talking about. I think easier insertion and removal might be a good idea. With the maple leaf barrel, it may just be, you know, it might just have issues. It might not be so great with the maple leaf barrel. It would be easier to get it installed on something else, but something to keep in mind, something to consider. All in all, though, I'm super excited about this, and if you really like this platform, the KWA F90, like I do, there are some extra parts that Basement Arms is actually working on now, some more aftermarket parts like selector modifications and feed lips and stuff, so stay tuned. We're going to be checking all of that out, and I can't wait to check out the next rendition of this hop-up and see if at all anything else changes. Links to his site will be down in the description, and for now, I'll catch you on the next adventure. Peace.